behind the green goes, ah! And then he starts...
Volunteer.
Volunteer.
Hit the production button over there. He's got a flash.
Check.
All right, boys, episode 25.
Excellent.
Is everybody still golf hungover?
I still haven't played.
That's not
what he's talking about.
Yeah. Friday, I got up in the morning. There was nothing on my agenda because I got up Friday. I came to your house and dropped off a box.
Yep.
Went to the golf course, picked up a grip. Back to my house at 10 after 5. Texted him. He was still dead to the world.
At 10 after 5?
Or 10 after 10.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, 10 after 10 in the morning.
Taylor was out.
He was still dead to the world, which he did finally text me at like noon. He's like, hey, you want Wendy's? I'm like, no, it's good to hear you're alive. But from like 10 after 10 in the morning, I started casting the PGA Championship. I didn't leave my couch till 10 o'clock that night unless I had to piss or get food.
So I did that Thursday and Friday.
And to check the mail, my cornhole bags arrived. That was it.
I just threw that on the TV and worked and watched golf all day, both days.
So I do have a stat for you to lead off. I meant to bring this up last week in honor of the PGA Championship. You may have seen this stat already. It has something to do...
Stat boy looks jealous over there that you're leading with a stat.
It's all right. I meant to bring it up last week, and I totally forgot. Okay. So John Daly didn't play last week, and he was eligible to play. He withdrew.
Yep.
Because of the knee, or isn't that what's been going on? He's got a knee issue that's unresolved. He wants to use a cart still, probably, and
that is extremely possible. I don't know if there was actually a reason given, or he just didn't want to play. But so he withdrew. The last time he played at Harding Park was at 2005. I don't know if it was the last time he played there. He lost to Tiger in a playoff. He made $750,000 in earnings. Did you guys hear about this? The end of the story? Okay. He blew through his earnings at a Vegas slot machine in over an hour. Over an hour. Could you imagine putting $750K into a slot machine in Vegas?
And losing it in an hour?
Somehow I knew that was the climax.
So he was going to lose all of his...
said it.
Yeah.
I mean, does that surprise anyone at this table?
No.
Okay.
I knew that John liked to gamble, but I thought maybe he'd stick around for a day or two.
Yeah.
They don't even get paid right away, right?
I was going to say, that must have just been, he burned through that much money. He didn't actually, get paid. He didn't walk away from the course with C notes and go right to the casino.
Yeah, you can't cash those surfboard checks that he didn't get because he didn't win. But, yeah, isn't there, the PGA Tour has a regular, payday or something like that.
They direct deposit on Mondays.
It's like a payroll. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking from all my experience or something.
Yeah, but did it say he went right after? Or did he wait till Monday?
Said,
maybe he waited
just
till
said
Monday.
then he blew through his $750,000 in earnings at a Vegas slots in just over an hour.
So he may have waited till Monday till it cleared and said, all right, guys.
You get how long it took for the plane to get to Vegas.
Maybe he was trying to make up for the tax money he was going to lose.
Yeah.
Like, well, if I can...
Probably thought he could write it off.
Yeah.
All right, so the PGA Championship, the elephant in the room is Collin Morikawa won. It was absolutely outstanding.
Yep.
Along with the $1.8 million he won, which, by the way, I owe you $20. He owes you $20.
I'm glad I picked him.
You keep your $20.
I was gonna say, cash is staying in my pocket. Thank you very much.
So along with that,
Look at that.
I'll get it to you while it's upstairs. The wife's got a hold of it.
Yeah, I think he won, it was like $1.92 million, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's got to pay $1 million in taxes in California.
Yeah.
So he only gets 900-something thousand.
Is their tax literally over 50% now?
It's
in
really
California,
close.
yeah.
That is insane.
From what I read, he's taken home, he's paying more than $1 million.
Now we know why John Daly didn't play.
Yeah.
Anything he made, they were going to take.
I mean, that's just insane.
It's insane.
He got a nice watch.
So I got a list of things he...
Probably got to pay the tax on the value of it.
Probably.
Yeah, he probably does. Yeah, it's a gift.
Yeah.
He said he's already an Omega. He was on Pat McAfee this morning. He's already an Omega partner. But the watch itself, he showed it had like an engraving on each side, like PGA Championship champion. So I think this list is legit, minus the last part probably. You got a lifetime exemption in the PGA Championship, 5-year exemption in the Masters, U.S. Open, the Open, and on the PGA Tour.
Yep.
You got the Omega timepiece, a Champions Money Clip, and here's where I think the sarcasm comes in: 1 month free trial to ESPN Plus. So that's.
I believe I read that he's been on tour like 18 months or something officially, and he's made
I don't know if it's been that long, was it?
14 months, 6.8
million,
almost 6.9. Yeah.
What does he have? 27 starts or something to that extent. 3
29.
wins and 29.
That was, yeah, that was amateur, because that's what they were saying. Tiger and him
Total starts on tour.
Yeah.
So I don't know professional starts. I don't.
He's probably like 25ish, 26.
Yeah. Because you can only have so many sponsors exemptions as an amateur.
Yeah, because they said him and Tiger both won their first major, their 29th start.
Right. McAfee asked him today, he said, have you seen the guy? There was a guy that bet on Morikawa, I think last week, but also at the workday. And he said, yeah. He goes, I didn't read again too. He goes, I did see that the guy bet on me and I won. And he won more than I did playing. So I looked this up. So the guy this is for the workday. This isn't for last week. The guy put in a bet for $4,000 for Morikawa to lead after the first round. That paid $200,000. Then he put in one for $28,000 for him to finish top 5. That paid $210,000. Then he put in a bet for $10,000 for Morikawa to win. That paid $280,000. And then Vegas confirmed that this guy also had bets on UFC that weekend and made over $1 million that weekend betting.
Hopefully he's not a California resident.
It was in Vegas, they said.
Yeah.
But if you're a resident to your state, you're paying that tax. Yeah. I just pulled it up. Morikawa's played in 29 events, and you're really close to the number. He's won $6.898 million.
Yeah.
Easy money.
Not bad.
And that's just on the course. It's not his sponsorships.
He's originally from California, but
right.
He lives in Vegas now. We know why.
Yeah. Well, so I was listening. I don't know who was Matt Wolf. Must have been on Foreplay a while ago. Or maybe it was Morikawa. One of them was on in, I forget where Matt Wolf's living now. Might be in Florida. Morikawa's in Vegas and Hovland somewhere. But they asked why Morikawa was in Vegas and like the two of them were. They said, well, he's definitely the most mature of the three of us. It's not even a question.
Yeah. Some nice courses to play in Vegas, too. I mean, it's a good tournament. I mean, it was a little odd without the fans. I don't think we should be throwing an asterisk because I know this has been talked about for these guys winning and, like, would the environment have been different if there was fans?
Yes, the environment would be different, but there's no reason to put an asterisk
Right.
on it. You still got to go out there and win a golf tournament.
Yes.
Players that are playing in the same environment. So
Paul Casey might have collapsed with fans, but I was surprised he hung on. It seems like he's near the top, and if he gets near the top of a major, and then like Sunday he just falls. But he held on.
There were still a couple hundred volunteers following around Jimmy. What the hell is going on here?
yeah,
Yeah, no fans, but it seemed like there was always a ton of people just standing around.
I think the biggest round of applause was the GM on the weekend. He played as the marker, the GM for TPC Harding Park.
yeah.
He got a huge round of applause when they announced his name on the first tee Saturday morning.
Any idea what he shot?
No, he was picking. I forget who he played with Saturday, but he was
Saturday shot like 75 or something like that, and Sunday the guy he played with had a flight that he wanted to catch, so they were basically playing speed golf. So he didn't finish out the holes.
Yeah, I think it was like 2.5 hours.
The GM didn't.
Yeah, like
So
I forget what hole they said. They said he hit his tee shot, and the PGA Pro basically ran to the green, putted out in the par 3, and the guy just walked by, picked his ball up, went to the next tee.
yeah.
I mean, this guy's got a flight to catch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was praying for like a 5 or 6 man playoff.
For sure.
I think the chaos of that would have been fun to watch.
Yeah. Which I got thinking about, too, is when it got that tight at one point, I was like, we could have 5 or 6 guys in a playoff. do we have enough daylight?
Right.
Because every day, I mean, it was ending around 7 o'clock their rounds, and it looked like it was getting pretty dark.
And they needed 3 holes.
Yeah.
Because it was
an
a 3-hole
aggregate.
playoff.
Yeah, that would have been tight to get it in.
Yeah. They did finish a little earlier Sunday, though, I think.
Yeah. Tee times were an hour and 10 minutes earlier was the latest tee time.
So maybe that's why they did that, just in case.
But if you had 5 or 6 guys in the playoffs, the chance of having a winner after 3 holes would probably be very slim. You'd probably still have at least 2 or 3 guys tied.
You say that, but did you guys see the U.S. men's amateur this week? The stroke play to get in? 33-man playoff?
We were just watching.
18.
18
18 man
spots, yeah.
for 3 spots. And it lasted 2 holes.
Are you serious?
2 guys birdied the first hole to move on, and then 1 guy birdied the next hole to move on, and that was the end of it.
Wait, if 2 guys birdied the first hole, wouldn't that be the end of the playoff?
3 spots.
Oh, okay.
It only took 18 guys, 2 holes.
Yeah.
That's not.
And it's not even the biggest. 33 man is the biggest they've ever had.
For the AM?
For the AM. 33 for 10 spots.
We were just watching it on TV before everybody got here, and just Taylor and I watched the guy hit one under the green, and it was hole high. Just
he splashed it right in the center of the green. Good looking shot. Ended up across the red line.
rolled off the green, like pin high, rolled down a bank, that had it all shaved off, and he was in the weeds.
Yeah.
I think they said they've had 5 playoffs, in the stroke play, obviously. 5 playoffs over 25 guys in the career of it.
That's weird because they cut the field down this year too. Went from like 310 to like 2 something. They cut out like the 260.
Right.
They cut out like 70 guys.
Yeah, that's crazy to have that many guys and then ended after 2 holes. But
I mean, props to those guys. I wonder if they won today. Do you know who they were?
I didn't write their names down. But
Interesting. Stat boy, you want to look that one up?
Sisk, I think, was one guy.
The guys who qualified in the playoff, did they win
There was a
today?
junior at Arizona State, a senior at Duke, and the other guy was from China, but he's going to be a freshman at Cal, maybe.
Cal's got a good program. Hence Morikawa.
Yeah, quite a few guys coming out of there the last few years.
Which I'd have to do some thinking in the timing of that when Morikawa was at Cal. So he graduated, last year? Right?
Yeah.
So no, it would have been before his time, before he was in college. I caddied for Bryce, the USAM qualifier, one year up in Rochester. Excuse me, and they always have the Monroe Invitational up there, and they always hold a qualifier in Rochester the following weekend. So a lot of the guys just stay in town to play the AM qualifier. And that year, Cal had a ridiculous team. I can't remember who was on the team, but they're like 6 or 7 man on the team was there at the Monroe, and he stayed and played the qualifier and like smooth like 67 in the qualifier. And I'm like, this guy's the like 6 or 7 man on the Cal team.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. It would have been before Morikawa's time, though. I mean, he wouldn't even have been a freshman at that point.
Yeah.
This stuff is not updated very well right now.
They're still playing too. So
Yeah, I
it
think
could
they
be,
wait to
but-
punch most of that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting back to the PGA, though. Yeah, obviously we were texting, 14, Morikawa chipped in. And at that point, he took that 1-shot lead. And you knew he had 16 ahead of him. So 17's an easier par 3. But, yeah, when he hit that tee shot on 16, though, it was... And Paul Casey was even on 17.
He turned around and saw it, yeah.
He saw it, and he's like, wow.
I think that shot, we can say it now because it's fresh in our minds, but I'm trying to look long term. That shot not only, he made the putt too. Let's not forget that. It wasn't like a kick in. He still had to make a 7-8 foot putt. That shot to me long term, 25, 30 years from now, we're still gonna be talking about. That might be not but one of the greatest shots under pressure in a major championship.
Being under pressure, it wasn't like it was Thursday morning he hit it.
Yeah.
And he said, Colt Knost asked him earlier in the week, are you going to go for the green at all? And he said, I was pretty emphatic about it. Like, no, the wind's not right, which you and I talked about. Because remember the one day I said nobody went for 6. There was like 4 people or 3.
Yeah, they were all just laying it to 80
Everyone was
yards.
just laying up on 16, and they said the wind wasn't right. It might have been Thursday that nobody went for it.
But when you look at the scoring average for the people that went at it versus the ones that laid back, I mean, even if you hit it in those bunkers, there
That's
were
what
still
you and I were
making
talking about.
birdies.
Yeah,
Why,
that was
why
Friday
not?
when I was here. Yeah,
Even the
point-
guys who blow it right in those trees, there was room over there. Like at worst, you make par.
I found that Sisk result. He got in as a 62 seed, so he played the number 3 seed. He won 5 and 4 today.
That's nuts.
Nice little ass waxing right there, huh?
Yeah. Hey, 3 seed. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Looks like there was a lot of upsets.
There was. I saw a kid from Scotland was like the 58 seed, and he won his match today.
I mean, do you really call it an upset, though?
No.
65 of the best amateurs, and
Yeah,
Right.
it's all based on how you shot on 2 days. You made it in.
And if it's
Good
that
enough.
jam-packed, think about what's the difference between the guy who was in the 3 seed and the guy who was what they actually shoot for 2 days.
Well, yeah, and I think the
Probably a couple shots.
guys in the playoffs were 2 over, I think, to get in the playoff. And there was a bunch of, I think one of those 3 guys, or 2 of them, birdied their last hole to get into the playoff
Wow.
and made it in. And there were a few guys that bogeyed the last hole. There was like 8 guys that bogeyed 18 that missed the playoff.
Holy shit.
Kind of like the other elephant in the room, Ricky Fowler with his
Oh, man. I
Oh.
forgot about that.
Yeah, that.
squibbed little 6-incher to miss the cut.
yeah.
Let's not take things for granted. Like, go ahead
Yeah.
and finish that out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how you. I don't know
Trunk
how you do
slamming.
that. It's-
Trunk slamming's right, man. I had him on my list, too. That pisses me off.
Yeah. I was glad to see it.
Of course you were. So I texted you both last night. I have some other things I want to talk about the PGA Championship. This is related to that. I texted you both because we know that Morikawa was he's now the 4th person to win a major at the age of 23. We saw that graphic this weekend after he won, and they put it on TV. He tied Rory, Jack, and Tiger. What irked me was last night. It was something that we have talked about.
Tied them for what?
Being 23 years old and winning a major.
Oh, okay.
Did Rory didn't win one at 23?
No, he did.
Oh, he
That's
did.
that's what I'm saying.
Those 4.
He is the 4th. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So what irked me was we had talked, I think 2 episodes ago, about Jack, where I think Jack's probably a great guy. He was great for the game, but that arrogance about him that's just a little Johnny Miller-esque. And last night I sent you guys that picture where, he tweeted Morikawa like, "Oh, I told him, his swing was great, how great he was, just like, yours truly." And he posted a picture of himself holding the trophy when he won. I'm like, we don't need that. Did Tiger congratulate him and post a picture of himself holding a trophy? Did Rory congratulate him and post a picture of himself holding a trophy? Yeah. That was a great example of what I was talking about. Like, Jack, we don't need your reminders. We just congratulate the guy. If the guy would just say, "Hey, man, being like that." I mean, yeah, he's met Jack. Now he won the Murfield Village. He's met him. But do you think a rookie on tour, getting a congratulations from Jack Nicklaus would be enough?
Right.
Do you really need to include yourself in that congratulatory tweet?
But did you hear about Johnny Miller's round at Oakmont? He hit trap draws all day.
After they got a half-inch of rain. But would you agree with me? I sent it to you guys. I mean, it was like instantly I saw that. I'm like, really? You can't just congratulate the 23-year-old kid at one? Just like somebody did to you? You somehow had to, and he posted a picture of himself. I'm like, What is wrong with you? Yeah. Do you look in the mirror every morning and be like, man, I'm good looking? Like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah. I agree. I don't really know what else to say about it, to be honest with you. You're right. I mean, there's not much else to add to it. You're right. It was a prime example of it. And I don't
Were you
know.
as peeved as I was?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Kyle was definitely upset about it.
I was pissed. So let's talk about something else that pissed me off.
Oh.
He's been growing on you. You said you like him, Mr. Brooks Koepka.
Oh.
I've been like, yeah, I can get on board with this a little bit.
I think that's mainly because he is trolling the hell out of Bryson.
Bryson, right.
Exactly,
That's
yes.
why.
Yeah. What he did Saturday night was right up there in douchebaggery.
Yeah.
So I rewatched his comment about, I don't know the guy's at the top of the leaderboard. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. I think part of that comment was made of, I haven't actually seen the leaderboard and who's up there.
Yes.
That's where I think that comment kind of went, and that might have been taken out of context by some people, but if you watched it, he was interviewed right after his round, so he might not have actually seen a leaderboard to see who was up there.
I believe they had the leaderboard in front of him.
I don't know, but either way, that's how I took him, giving the benefit of the doubt. The way he said, he kind of mumbled and stumbled through it, like I don't know who's up there.
I think we think that all athletes should be comfortable behind a microphone talking,
right?
And they're just not.
Yeah.
And I think he is one of those people that is not.
Not.
And I saw his comments as a guy who is awkwardly stumbling through an answer to a question, not really knowing what he wants to say, and it just came out as something awkward that he probably regrets.
Yeah. The comment about, I don't know who's on the leaderboard, I think that was part of, he really truly hadn't seen the leaderboard. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
It was the dig he took at Dustin Johnson.
That's the piece that I think bothered me more.
Yeah.
Was the dig at him.
Did you see that part of it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But again, I think he was just awkwardly stumbling through that. He was trying to make the comment that they asked him about what he's going to do different or something like that.
Yeah.
Is his experience going to come into play? And I think he was trying to say that, yes, I have a lot of experience here. I have 4 majors. And if you look at the rest of the leaderboard, and he just happened to pick out DJ and say, DJ's only got 1. And I don't think he was taking a shot at DJ. It was just he was answering the question about his own experience that they asked him.
DJ is the second coming of Thomas Bjorn, though, let's be honest. Choke artist.
Yes.
He's 0 for 4 in leads held in majors after 54 holes. 0 for 4.
Yeah.
Sorry,
He still
Thomas
won,
Bjorn. But
13 straight years on tour. And
21 wins, 3 times as many wins as Brooks.
Correct.
And I think that's where, obviously Rory made a statement about it Sunday about it. So I think it may have been taken out of context, but obviously PGA Tour pros noticed it as well.
I mean, somebody did. To bring it up to Rory.
I'm not disagreeing. It doesn't look good, but like you just said, those stats, they have nothing to do with the question that he was answering. He was answering a question about his experience on major Sundays.
Yeah.
And the answer just came out awkwardly.
Golf Channel tried to spin it as basically like a mental warfare, which I don't think it is, but
no.
It's just, if that's his way of hyping himself up to get ready for the next day, go ahead and do that. I probably wouldn't say it in front of a bunch of the media people.
And I think he's definitely hurt, which I'm surprised he's playing this week. And I think that's more to improve his. I think he's 92nd in the FedEx Cup rankings right now.
It's lower than that.
So he's
Did
definitely.
you look that up? Because
when you've got
FedEx Cup rankings, because Speed's playing this week too.
Yeah.
On Friday, when you have your trainer stretching your back and hip multiple times, then absolutely.
And then he played that off. He was like, no, that's just all the time. But obviously not in the middle
which
of
it
rounds,
probably
right. Yeah.
I'm sure that's true.
He said he woke up like that, which is possible.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm surprised he's
wake
playing
up
this
like that
week
every morning.
Obviously, he wants to get through he'd like to get in the top 70 probably. So he's I don't know. I just find if he's truly that hurt, why not be like, hey, I'm not gonna play this week. I'll play next week, because he's not gonna get out of the top 120. He'll definitely be playing next week.
Maybe that's why he's playing this week. Hopefully, what's he at?
Brooks is at 92, and Jordan is right behind at 94.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're actually higher than
And
I thought.
And Jordan's played that tournament a couple times.
Yeah.
So I don't think Brooks has ever played it, because obviously it's always the last tournament of the year. But
I know the points is kind of arbitrary sounding, but they're 2,000 points behind. So you put a couple top 10s on the board, and boom, you're right up there with them.
Yeah, but
Justin Thomas is leading it right now.
I think it's like 700 to the winner this week, which puts you way up there.
And
so
points this is the last week for points. Right. Playoffs start.
And I don't think, to your point that he's never played this year's so screwed up that I don't put any stock in the fact of people playing a different schedule than usual.
Right.
So,
which I think Lukava made a comment today about Tiger not playing enough. So,
Joey did?
Yeah. And he probably told Tiger he was going to make the comment, but
I don't think Tiger's played enough.
I don't disagree with that. I think I've always been one of those people that has said that, let's be honest, we all want to see Tiger play. We all enjoy it more when Tiger's in the field. We get a little hyped up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I speak for all of us sitting at this table when I say one of our big motivators in golf was Tiger Woods.
Right.
Like that was the guy, that was the face that, I'm not going to say it's why we picked up a club, but that was during our childhood, he was pretty dominant, and that was the face. And we all want to see him play more. I mean, we get more hyped up when Tiger's in the field. What I have come to notice is, and we're all guilty of, I know I am, but when Tiger's in the field, it's like every day he's in the field, we sit on edge. Like you want him to play well, and then he doesn't play well, and then you sit there and you're like, is he okay? Is he getting too old? Is he hurt? And then at the end of the day, like those questions continue to go, like, is his back okay? Or he's got a ball in the rough and he takes a cut at it, and like you just kind of hold your breath for a minute, like, is he going to walk away from this one? Because we watched a guy walk off a tour event because his glutes weren't activated. So I don't know about you guys, but I think I have that feeling that a lot of people are like, I do it. Is he all right? Like, is he, at the end of the day, like, he didn't play well. Please don't come out tomorrow and say, well, I'm hurt and I can't play again for a while, because we want to continue to see him play and show up.
I think it would have been nice for him it'd been nice to see him play this week. Obviously, hopefully he'll play 3 straight weeks. I think he's 42 or 46.
Yeah, he's not,
So he's not far out of the top 30.
Right.
But, yeah, and maybe that's his hope. Obviously, play well next week, play well the week after, and get in the top 30, make it back to Tour Championship.
I think he is not playing a lot right now. I think he's playing a lot right now, not on tour.
Right. Because even he made a comment, I think, after his round Sunday that said he was ready for the playoffs. Yeah. It was nice for them to give them a 2-week break between the end of the playoffs and the U.S. Open. So there's a gap there. That's why I'm surprised, because he hasn't been playing a lot. Why not play 4 weeks in a row? I know it's a lot, but...
Yeah, I think he changed his schedule to be very heavy and be playing a lot of tournaments. You having trouble with that thing again? Hmm? It's twice now. I've almost missed your lip.
He's obviously looking at your lips a lot.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Looked like you were out of the corner of my eye. Looked like you were.
Can we stumble back just to something that you were talking about 30 seconds ago? I agree that we all like to watch Tiger. We all do sit on edge. But you did make a comment this weekend. I mean, personally, I like to watch him when he's playing well. I like to watch anybody when they're playing well. But if Tiger, I know he played okay this weekend, but let's go back 2 years ago or so.
I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Do you want to watch Tiger shoot 85 while they analyze every 3-footer that he misses, and then the next guy stands up and misses a 3-footer? They don't say anything about it. They analyze everything.
We talked about this because they were showing Bryson like every shot. I think when he wasn't even like Friday, he wasn't really in the mix, was he?
I mean, I feel like there's those.
I thought he was going to trunk slam, but
I feel like there's those like 20 guys that they show
nonstop
every shot all the time if they're playing. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised to see. Obviously, Bryson's the talk of the tour right now, so it's not a surprise to see them showing him.
While Cameron Champ silently hits it past him.
So I saw this. Actually,
and Finau was out driving him Sunday.
He was here Sunday watching it, and I said, "Man, I feel like they're playing really fast." And they kept showing, like, did you guys notice that? They were showing, like, I felt like guys were playing fast, and I felt like they kept showing, like, a ton of shots. Like, it was very quick. They actually posted a stat, the CBS televised 1.69 strokes per minute. And I think that's because so many guys were tied at, like, 10 under at the time. So they were like, we got to catch this shot, Yeah. That's pretty good. Like, I was watching a lot of golf, watching a lot of leaders. I wouldn't want to be in that production truck, like, trying to coordinate that.
So I'll ask you guys, because, well, I guess more for Taylor and Kyle. I guess if you want to answer. So Collin's caddy was a 3-time All-American in college, Division II. How much does that help having someone that played that successful in the college game, I guess, on your bag versus someone that, you're good friends with and is just a decent player? Does that help strategy-wise coming down the stretch, knowing how to play the shots? Or no, does that not matter as much?
Do you want the quick answer first?
Whatever you want to give me.
So the quick answer is, in my opinion, no. I don't think so. And I think that is because you could have somebody on your bag who's a 30 handicap, but if that person's able to talk to you and when things are going south, you can kind of like reel it back in. They know what to say to you, and they know you personally. I mean, if you have a caddy that's comfortable, like not that he does it, but let's say Bryson's got someone on his bag that is very comfortable with him, and he has a little outburst, and you kind of pull him aside and like, you better stop that shit right now.
Right. That was going to be my response too. Was it's less about the game and telling them hit this shot, shape it this way, this putt's going to break. I mean, they know what's going to happen. It's all about, dude, you're on 18. Let's focus here.
Yeah.
Make your par. Let's get on with it.
Give them the number and let them make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I agree that my answer would be no. And it may not directly correlate, but I immediately thought of, like, in the major sports, some of the greatest coaches ever are people whose playing careers sucked so bad that they went on.
They spent a lot of time watching from the bench.
Yeah, and they went on to be great students of the game and therefore great coaches. So,
like Luke Walton, who coached LeBron.
I was going to bring him up later. Don't worry.
All right.
But
yeah, I think my fast answer is no. I mean,
yeah, because and obviously you guys talking about like setting your guys straight. That's what they said with Greller. He's basically become a psychologist over the last 2 years.
But then again,
full-time psychologist because he's trying to
But there again, there's a
get
guy
Spieth
that he
straight.
knows Spieth on a very, very personal level. I mean, he's known him since he was a junior, so
yeah,
he can do that, and Spieth relies on him for that. Probably sometimes. So yeah, I would say no, and I would say it'd probably be more important if you don't have to be a good golfer to be able to read greens if that's part of your job, or if he asks you to read greens. I mean, I've never been a big fan of David Ledbetter. The guy was like an 8 handicap out there coaching tour pros. I'm like, but then, like, to your point, he probably had a good knowledge of the swing. He just couldn't actually physically pull it off to be that good.
Yep.
But he knew how to analyze. I still think Ledbetter's not that great of a coach.
Those who can't play teach.
Sure.
I'll raise my hand over here after shooting a gentleman's 82 this weekend.
Are we still talking about golf? You want to move on to hockey? Because
we're not going to talk about the 3 things that Phil does well.
Is there a clear hatred between him and Faldo?
it was awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
There's
People
something there that
I didn't read it fully, the comments, but people were tweeting at Faldo today, and he was just like responding with emojis.
yeah.
But it was.
So they brought Phil for those listening, they brought Phil on the broadcast Saturday, correct?
Uh-huh.
Saturday after he got done playing. And we got some white noise somewhere. Anyways.
It's upstairs. She's running water.
Okay. They gave let him do his intro, and he basically said there's 3 things in life I'm really good at: playing golf and talking about golf. So the joke being, hey, I'm not good at math, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Faldo, it went right over Faldo's head. He goes, wait a minute, you said there were 3 things. What's the third?
Oh yeah, he totally didn't get the joke.
And then there was like a weird tension. The more they talked, because Faldo made some comments about Phil's swing being too long, and he said Phil had some quip back at him, and
said if I shortened it, I'd swing like you.
Yeah, I thought there was some clear friction history there that those 2 guys don't like each other.
It was awkward because Phil had like that like fake cheese grin, like staring at him on his head.
And Nance was like, just use your imagination.
Yeah.
I feel like Phil is 50 now. He sees that the horizon is approaching him, and he's trying to get himself the spotlight for when he can sit in Faldo's spot, because that guy's not going to be in the booth forever.
I think I would rather see him on the course.
I would too.
Than in the
I
booth.
can't stand
Who,
listening to
Phil?
the guy talk, but
I don't know.
Phil?
But
Yeah.
then again, you can't have those quick jabs while your guys got guys swinging 20 feet from you. So maybe it'd be better in the booth.
I don't think you'll ever be in the booth. I really don't. He might be on the desk like at a major or something sometime.
Maybe next year we can get a match and have JT and him on the course together.
I think it'd be a lot like listening to Johnny Miller.
No.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
They call him Fig Jam for a reason.
Yeah.
No.
Do you know what Fig Jam is?
No.
Fuck, I'm good. Just ask me.
That was always the rumor. That was his nickname on tour.
I'd never heard that one.
You never heard Fig Jam?
No. I've never heard him called that.
I think I read that a long time ago. One time, someone did an interview.
I heard a quick anecdote about him going to a course in Rochester and standing on the first tee, and all the members gather around because they want to watch Phil. And instead of hitting down the fairway, he aims 30 yards right because it's out of bounds right. And he immediately snap hooks, boom, boom, 2 of them outright. And they're all looking around perplexed. What just happened here? And he turns back to the members. He says, had to do that. Didn't want to break your course record. And then walks down the fairway.
That's actually a great story.
That's kind of funny.
That's a great story.
If that's true, though, does that not, come on, fig jam right there.
That is actually awesome.
I mean, he does has, 45 wins on tour.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Phil, so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to knock that because when I was in college, that was one of my like jokes I used to do and people took serious. Is I'd walk into the pro shop at tournaments away, and there'd be like all these like kids like, oh, and they're all serious, and the guys working the counter. I'd walk in and be like, you guys got scorecards? They're like, yeah, they're right here. I'm like, where's the first tee? They're like, oh, it's over there. I'm like, and the course record is?
Yeah. To me, those are kind of.
That's actually really funny that he did that. It's probably Country Club Rochester, would be my guess, because he plays over there when he's in town.
That I'm not sure of. That's an old anecdote.
It's actually funny. Didn't want to break your course record. I'm going to remember that next time I get up and just like, if I'm playing one, I'll like jack it out on a hole or just pick him. It's cool. I want to break the course record today.
Yeah. I do think, as far as the broadcast goes, that specifically Scott Van Pelt is very good at broadcasting golf.
He
I
is.
think he's good to listen to.
Did you know he got his start in golf? Like, I think it was like after college. I think
No.
It's homework for you. He did an interview with Faraday. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. Really good interview.
He only gets it twice a year.
Yeah.
PGA and Masters.
Yep. Which I talked last week about Kelly Tillman being on. I didn't even notice if she was on.
No, never saw her. So I don't know where you pulled that out of.
Just really glad not to see Joe Buck. There's that U.S. Open coverage.
That's
when
US
they had-
Open.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He might still be getting that.
But she tweeted something about it was good to be back this week, and Colton Ost responded to it, and it was like, it was
I think
great.
she was on. Her, Colton Ost, and
They
someone else. It was like an hour before coverage on Golf Channel.
Okay.
So I think
It wasn't
that was
like
it.
during coverage. She wasn't on course. Okay.
I
Either
think
way.
I think that was a
Like
three.
a live from the range or something.
Right.
Okay. I still didn't see her, and I feel like that's all I did was put a dent in my couch watching golf.
Same here.
Huh. Interesting. I am disappointed, though, because this is the first year I'm not going to the Masters because of COVID. Usually it's because I just can't get a ticket in a port. I saw that today. I was like, oh, that's kind of true.
Yep.
Got any other golf questions for us over there?
No.
All right, let's get on to some really good stuff. You guys got me hooked on this hockey.
Good.
I was up last night, like super late.
Yesterday was a good day to be hooked on hockey.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Because the Columbus game, if you were like 3 periods in and then you started watching overtime, you were, at that point, you were just like, it was like a poker pot. You were already in pot committed. You had to watch it.
Correct.
So carry on.
Yeah. So we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but the first qualifying round is over. So the first round of the actual playoffs started this week, Tuesday to be specific. So yesterday, Columbus and Tampa had their game 1 through 3 in the same night. So somebody tied the game. I didn't even see it in regulation. Have you even seen this?
I have not.
All right. So Columbus and Tampa played into the 5th overtime last night. Ended up being the 4th longest game in NHL. They kept saying playoff history, but it's got to just be NHL history.
Yeah. And, well,
Because wouldn't they go to a shootout in a normal season game?
I think
Yes,
it's,
but that's only been the case
Yeah,
the
and
last like 20 years.
it's the second longest in modern history. Because the top two are like 1933 and 1936 or something like that. And it was
Weren't
like
there
they're
6 teams back then?
after
yeah.
that. Not
Yes.
was it back that far? I don't know when it.
That's pretty good by Stat Boy right there.
I don't know why I knew that. That's my random fact of the day for you right there.
Well, you mean you did
Back
live
in,
in like
back in the
Detroit area.
30s, it would have had to have been
Yeah.
the original 6 still. But either way, Braden Point won it for Tampa Bay in the 5th overtime. So regular season now, during the regular season, they play the 3 periods. If they're tied, they do a 5-minute 3 versus 3 overtime, and then they go to a shootout. The playoffs, they still play continuous 20-minute periods until you have a winner. So they, went into the 5th overtime. So the
Are there
8th,
guys like
the
eating
8th
slices
period.
of pizza on the bench or something? Just, my God, you've got to be dead.
Some of these long overtime games over the last 10 years, they'll interview goalies afterwards, and they've noted some goalies losing as much as like 10 to 15 pounds in a game like this because they sweat out so much.
Yeah, and it was
like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
It was a minute 35 short of being the longest in modern day history.
So
yeah, they interviewed John Cooper after, and they said, "What do you remember most?" He says, "My feet were freezing." And then he said, I don't know if it was after regulation, he had a salmon salad waiting in the coach's room. He said when we went to overtime, he says I couldn't eat it, and then every intermission, he says I just didn't eat it. He says I'm starving right now.
I mean,
it was like superstition. I'm just not going to touch it now because we're still in it.
Somebody last night, maybe you guys know this when I asked a question. I heard this morning that one of the players got 60 minutes of ice time last night.
yeah,
Seth Jones.
Seth Jones on Columbus. I think it ended up being 63.
Yeah,
or something like that. The most.
Werenski was close.
That's
as well.
bonkers.
Yeah, and so was Hedman for Tampa.
Yeah, Hedman was like 58.
So in a normal NHL game, which is 60 minutes long, 3 20-minute periods, defensemen usually get the most ice time, and the guys that are up there in the league usually average 27 to 28 minutes played in a game. So, and last night Seth Jones played 63 minutes.
What's the average shift length?
For a defenseman, probably.
In general, they're like 45 seconds.
Oh, that fast.
Yeah.
Of clock time, right?
Yeah. Defensemen could be a little longer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, most shifts you're going full board. Hockey's so end-to-end now that it's almost, you're going out there and just sprinting up and down the ice. So, 45 seconds to a minute is probably average.
And I think they say in a normal game you skate, a guy that plays a decent amount skates like 5 to 6 miles.
I believe that.
Yeah.
So
I definitely believe that.
They played almost 3 games last night.
So that game, I'm sure the NHL thought of this, but so they're in these hub cities. So the Eastern Conference is in Toronto. So that game took place in Toronto. They had 3 games scheduled yesterday. There was one earlier than that, right? And then
No, it was just the 2.
all right. So either way, that game started at 3, and then Boston and Carolina were supposed to play at 8:00. And they said, I don't know why they got so specific, but they need 87.5 minutes. Which I just rounded up to 90. They need 90 minutes in between games because you need the teams to be able to undress, shower, get out of the locker room. They have to send a crew in to disinfect the locker room. Then the other team for the later game comes in, gets dressed, does their thing. They have their traditional warm-ups, come back in, they Zamboni the ice, then the game starts. So they need 90 minutes in between games. So as soon as that game got into like 2 or 3 overtimes, I think by the time it got into second overtime, they knew the later game was already going to be delayed. But that game ended up going so late that they postponed last night's Boston-Carolina game and played it this morning at 11 a.m.
Which is a good thing they did after.
That game ended up going into 2 overtimes.
Did it really?
This morning.
And then it delayed the second game. It was supposed to happen today.
Yeah, it delayed the second game by a little over an hour. And then luckily that one didn't go to overtime, so they got the third one to starting time.
On
But,
we're watching Philly and Montreal.
yeah,
right
so
now.
the second game was supposed to start at 8, and the first game ended at 9:30 last night.
Yeah.
So that game wouldn't even have started till 11 o'clock. And then, like you said, it went second overtime. It wouldn't have ended till like probably 2.
And it would have ran simultaneously.
And those guys,
with
and you got to
Vegas,
think about it,
Chicago.
those guys probably, I don't know when they got to the arena, but those teams probably got to the arena around,
I would guess
6 o'clock-ish.
I saw a
Right.
picture last night of someone just like they were in another room
Yeah,
where the Raptors like must work out and have a gym, and they were like laying on the floor watching TV.
watching the game.
Yeah, they, well, I think Cooper said even after regulation they went back and the Bruins coach's room was right next door to his. And he poked his head in and he said, "You guys know how this goes. It either ends real quick or it doesn't end quick." And then he said after the fourth one I looked in, they were packing their bags up.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is usually they get in the playoffs, they have these long overtime games. By the time you get to the second overtime, guys are just absolutely gassed. Last night, these guys were able to keep their energy up through all 5 overtimes.
It was crazy.
And I think that's because they had the long coronavirus layoff for 3 months. These guys are actually fresh. We talked about this month or so ago that everybody coming into this was going to be healthy, have energy, and we might see the best playoffs ever. And I think last night was kind of a prime example of that they still had their energy late in that game.
Which that was your guys' prediction, and the experts, analyst went the other way with it before the hockey season started. So these guys won't be conditioned enough because they won't have camp. Yeah,
I didn't buy it.
Yeah, they were flying. Like I said, Seth Jones playing 63 minutes, and after they interviewed him, he looked like he just played like 20 minutes.
Kid's an impressive athlete.
And they play tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They play again tomorrow.
So, yeah.
It's been exciting so far. I mean,
I was glued to the TV.
it was
Just glued.
6.5 hours. It was. Russ wanted him to start playing the Bruins Canes game during intermission. Send him out there like the Pee Wee game in between periods.
Come out and play like 10-minute sections of the game.
I saw another one today that said if it gets to a fourth overtime again, it's 2 pucks are in play.
So
I mean, even whoever was putting the signs up in the arena on the boards, there was one in like the third overtime. I think I texted you guys, and it said like still overtime.
Yeah.
And then when they went to the, I don't know, after the fourth, they said 7th period stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, they're having fun with it there. So, prior to the playoffs start, or prior to Tuesday, so the qualifying round end, we talked about the lottery coming up. They had the first wave of that back in June, and they had the probably nightmare scenario where the team to be determined later won the lottery.
Yep.
So they ended up holding that lottery, phase 2 of the lottery, Monday night. So all the teams that had been eliminated were eligible. So instead of doing their number code system, they actually did the legitimate lottery ball machine with the ping pong balls. They put one ping pong ball in for
I already know what he's thinking over there.
I have a question for both of you, but go ahead.
Okay. So they had a ping pong ball representative for each team, and the New York Rangers ended up winning that. So New York Rangers get first overall. Probably going to select Alexi Lafreniere.
Yeah. Do you think it was rigged like everyone claims? Because I'm calling bullshit.
This was not rigged, and everybody that all right.
Toronto almost got the pick. Did you see the video?
Yeah, they did. I'm glad.
The ball sucked up and it hit the thing and come back down.
Yeah.
Went up into the tube, rattled around,
and came down. So they made a big production of this. They had some clown lawyer from, Joe Schmo Inc. there with a suitcase.
Joe Schmo Inc. I love it.
He'd hold the ping pong ball up. Some lady was reading off stats about the team, and then they have the commissioner confirm, yes, that is the New York Rangers logo. And then he'd drop the ball in, and then they dramatically bring the next one out. And it took a full 5 minutes to load the 8 balls into the machine.
Keep it moving.
So yes. So they were in alphabetical order by city. So the guy loaded like 5 of the balls. Then he got to New York, and while she's talking, he accidentally dropped the ball in there. It's still just in order in this tube. So he pulled it back out and held it. So everybody was claiming that ball was heavier than the others, which is why he dropped it.
Because he had butterfingers.
Right.
No.
But people were claiming, that ball must be heavier, and he dropped it in there accidentally, which...
How heavy can a ping pong ball be, first of all?
My question is, if it's heavier, how does it actually go up the tube?
Correct. If the ball was heavier, it would give them a disadvantage in this vacuum system that's sucking the ball to the top.
That was actually a golf ball.
Right. Yeah. If there was 7 balls just laying in the bottom, not doing anything, and one of them banging around, then okay, it's rigged for that
if
one
it was
team.
rigged for the Rangers, like everybody else's would have been heavier, like you said.
So,
Do you?
no, this was not friggin' rigged.
It was ridiculous.
Because they brought it back to which we've talked about before, was the
Patrick Ewing.
But
You ever heard that story?
Yeah.
The cold envelope?
Yeah, we've told that.
so he probably couldn't have, maybe not, probably a better place for hockey for him to end up, because the Rangers have been down the past few years, and to be obviously in New York City is a big advantage.
The Rangers have had like 7 first-round picks in the last 4 seasons or something. They're very stacked on high-end young talent. And last offseason, they signed Artemi Panarin, who is a Hart Trophy finalist from the past season for league MVP. Mika Zibanejad has found a resurgence in New York. You put Lafreniere on a line with Zibanejad and Panarin, and that's immediately one of the best lines in the league.
So I know they got eliminated. What was their seed?
11. Because Carolina was a
Carolina.
6. Yeah.
Okay. So, because I know we talked about the whole, like, the number of, like, 5 seeds it could have ended up with.
So I know a few Rangers fans that were upset when they got in the playoff because they wanted first overall pick because they knew they've been struggling. They wanted something. Yeah. So they were upset when they made the playoffs. And now...
Are they upset now? I'm just
no.
Didn't think
I texted one of them. I said, does that make getting swept in the qualifying round better? And he said, of course.
I'm certainly not a Rangers fan, and obviously I hate the Yankees, but baseball is much bigger. Hockey has more issues getting national exposure and things like that, and I believe that having the New York Rangers, the biggest market in the country, having the New York Rangers have a solid, successful team is very good for the NHL.
It's good for the sport, for sure.
Yeah, it's more important for the NHL to have New York be good versus like the Yankees. That's why I was really into the Yankees. But I think it's good for the NHL when the New York Rangers are successful.
Obviously taking out Toronto, Edmonton, and Pittsburgh because that would have been stupid if one of the three of them got it. But a lot of people thought Minnesota would have been a great landing spot as well, just because it's state of hockey and everything.
So now, before, I wouldn't be able to agree or disagree with that. But after Russ makes this point, I'd have to disagree with him going to Minnesota to be a good fit. Just because, like you said, if you think hockey is a sports in this lull or not getting the attention it deserves, a guy at this magnitude going to the biggest market in New York being good, great for the sport.
Right. Yeah.
Great for the sport.
Nope.
I'll never understand how any team in New York City, in the largest market in the country, is unable to put a winning product on the field, on the ice, or on the court. New York Knicks, I'm calling you out.
I think the league in general will benefit from him being a Ranger versus had Minnesota or the Florida Panthers won it. I think for as far as the league goes, they probably got the best scenario possible with the New York Rangers.
Yeah, I think it's a big plus.
Was he there?
They were interviewing him remotely through Zoom or something.
I saw like a picture of him,
and he's 18. You could easily convince people based on like that interview that he's like 26 or something. Yeah. He looks like a man child.
Where's he from?
Quebec, Canada. He's a French Canadian.
I thought you were gonna hit me with he's from Yugoslavia. And he's I'm 12. Still got a certificate to play junior hockey and play in college.
But we see the Little League World Series as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we see a lot of these kids in hockey that are drafted at 18. There's a lot of pressure now once you're a first-round pick to get into the NHL. If you're a top 10 pick, to get in like the next season. And we see a lot of these kids. Think about the Sabres, like when they drafted Casey Middlestat.
Right.
Middlestat looked like he was 13 years old.
He still does.
And you would think this kid cannot play in the NHL for like 5 years. Like he has got to mature and grow up.
He went to college for 3 years, been in the NHL for like 4 years, still looks 13.
Yeah. But when you look at Lafreniere, it's the exact opposite. It's, okay, this looks like a man-child who, at 18, 19 years old, he'll be able to step into the NHL immediately.
And another person I think about, same thing is, I mean, McDavid looks young, but Seth Jones is just a monster. And he was, number 3 overall? I said it was a while ago, but he was a big kid coming in.
I'm assuming he's going to go right to the Rangers. He's not going to do the whole college shit.
No.
Especially... Even more so now. I mean, he's the number 1 pick.
Well, he's been playing juniors for so many years.
There's a lot of weird. Yeah, he'd go back to Canadian juniors. He wouldn't go to college, but no, that kid will be on the Rangers next year.
Okay.
Yep. Seth Jones was like 5th or 6th overall. He dropped in that draft to Nashville.
But yeah, he was another kid that was just big.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on the Sabres' new uniforms?
Absolutely love them.
Because I think both of you before have said I wish they'd go back to the...
Yeah.
So Sabres came into the NHL in the early 70s. From then until 96, they wore the royal blue and gold. So a bright royal blue. 96, 97, they completely rebranded the franchise. They got a new arena. That's when they went to the red and black.
With the swords and the buffalo head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that was... a complete random. a lot of teams will change their logo, change minor things, but rarely do they ever just completely change a color scheme.
Yeah, they didn't keep any colors.
So from that season, 96, 97, through the lockout in 05, after that lockout, they came back and went back to blue and gold. They had some ugly-ass uniforms and logos, but they went back to blue and gold. But so since 05 through this past season, it was always a really dark navy blue. So to a lot of casual viewers, they might be looking at these uniforms and think they don't look a whole lot different. But the main difference that Sabres fans have been calling for is they went from really dark navy back to the bright royal blue. I think Taylor's got a
and like
photo there.
probably 3 years ago when they put an alternate out and they tried to make it like the royal blue and it just didn't look great.
You can kind of see it there on camera.
For those of you listening on iTunes and Spotify, showing a picture on YouTube.
Yeah, that translates well. But the big takeaway is they scrapped the navy blue and went back to the nice bright royal blue.
I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's a good move.
Still got a crappy product on the ice, but
the interesting thing is they put out this like 45-second video with like a
somebody dropping like a package on it.
You'd see like this content, that people put out, and in that video they even showed like all these people that had tweeted or commented on Instagram towards the Sabres that to bring back royal blue. They showed these like hundreds of comments and whatnot, and I thought it was interesting that they actually did that because it shows that professional franchises are actually going on and reading all the freaking comments on their posts and stuff.
So, and the guy who actually designed them for Adidas is originally from Buffalo, so he designed the Sabres jersey too. So he was pretty happy. He commented on it saying he was happy and was very pleased that being from Buffalo that they used his design and going back to those colors.
Yep. So, good move. I think they look good. They're going to be, in my opinion, they'll be one of the best looking uniforms probably in all sports.
Did you guys order yours yet?
Just that the team still sucks that's going to be wearing them. That's the only depressing part. I did not order one, no.
No.
Are you going to order
I might
one?
have to, though.
I got a New Jersey last year, so I won't.
I think this is finally the design they have that will stick around for a long time.
It should.
And maybe never
So
change.
now the Bills should go back to the old school jerseys. Like the early 90s jerseys.
Yeah.
It would be sick.
That seems like bad taste to me.
Yeah,
Why?
there's some bad
They went to
juju there.
4 straight Super Bowls, though.
They didn't win any of them.
lost
but they
them
went
all.
to
That's
4
lost.
straight AFC titles. What if I say it that way?
Doesn't matter, man.
Then they didn't win the next game.
I would like to see. I'd like to see Buffalo. I have no problem. I mean, the logo's the logo. It'd be tough to come up with something different.
That big buffalo on the side,
yeah,
though.
I like the old school logo, like
Yeah.
pre-90s. Like I like that, like the silhouette. I'd like to see Buffalo go to one of their primary jerseys being the red,
Yeah.
like a red.
I agree with that.
A red jersey with the white pants.
Maybe the Bills should switch up and just go
Blue and gold.
royal blue and gold. We talked about this last week with Pittsburgh.
You guys talked
I
about
talked about that last episode. I've always liked that idea.
Yeah.
It's only
so
two, they only got 2 sports.
so that brings me back to
3.
They do have 3 now. Sorry.
that brings me back to 96, 97 when the Sabres rebranded and went to red and black. Why not go to red, white, and blue
Right.
at that time to match the Bills? But I think the blue and gold looks super clean.
It's
Technically, the Bills are out of style right now because Toronto's currently playing in Buffalo because Toronto can't have teams from the U.S. travel up there. So, and they're rocking the powder blue.
Yeah, they introduced their new uniform.
Dude, those powder blues are
They
sick.
put-
I remember watching games, going up there to watch games with my family when I was young, and Joe Carter.
Joe
powder
Carter,
blue.
World Series, Hooters. You remember?
So
Big
the
day.
Blue Jays, as you just said, the Blue Jays are playing in Buffalo right now, Salins Field, where the Buffalo Bisons, the Blue Jays AAA team plays. Dude, they put a ton of money into that
Yeah.
stadium. The Blue Jays did.
I didn't see a lot of difference between.
Well,
It-
they built some massive facility out by the parking garage out past center field.
Yep.
They built 2 buildings.
I saw they were
then-
building that. Like I saw a tweet where they were
Yep.
in the middle of that.
They remodeled the locker rooms, the hallways. Like, they cleaned everything
They
up.
quickly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is 3 weeks.
Yep. So, like, the Bisons are going to benefit big time because they basically now got a brand new locker room.
Is there a hotel right next to a stadium too?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a couple right there.
Because I saw last night where some guy posted a video. There was like 4 or 5 of them in a hotel room watching the game because the hotel overlooked the field.
Oh.
They were way up, but they were watching the game.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of guys stand on 190 on the guardrails to 190 ramp.
And if
Oh my gosh. Not a hazard or anything.
And if that parking garage is open, you go up to the top of that parking garage and look right in.
I think there's not allowing people in there. Is from what I heard. My roommate, I sent Russ a picture yesterday. My roommate in college, his good buddy, works for the Bisons. He is in charge of. He took a picture. He was standing before the game started. Guys were warming up. He's in charge of getting foul balls so the MLB can authenticate them. I don't know if they like sell them, what they do. We were trying to figure out what they do with them, but he has to gather the foul balls so the MLB can authenticate the ball.
What?
So that is his job right now, is to get the foul balls.
They don't do
during
that
games.
normally, right? Because
No.
No, because it goes into your pocket or my pocket.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it must be
they must be selling them on the side
Yeah.
or something to generate revenue.
I mean, that's a way to.
You go buy a foul ball for
Yeah, you want a foul ball?
$8.99.
Yeah.
They tell you who's bad. Maybe he's got to remember whose bat it came off of.
We drawing little faces on him when I get him back. I found this one. Does this count?
If you're a player that's going for any sort of milestone, like your 300th or 400th home run or something, you got to be hope you're doing it this year
Yeah,
because
this
you're
is the
going to
year
get the
to do
ball
it.
back.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know.
I just really try. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So going back to hockey quick, who you got coming out of each conference?
So I filled out a bracket the other day for one of my buddies.
Ooh.
I could throw that out there.
You, buddy.
I wish I was in that.
I've got my prediction is the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup over Philadelphia.
I got Washington winning over Colorado.
Okay, so we agree on Colorado.
I like Colorado.
I think the Islanders
And that obviously the Islanders already won today as we're recording this, so Washington's down 1-0.
So even before today, I would predict the Islanders are they're a very underrated, hardworking team. I don't believe Washington gets past the Islanders first round.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I just like Ovechkin, so
Yeah, I got Avalanche over Philly. Mark that down, stat boy.
I've got no predictions in hockey. I did throw in a
I love Colorado.
FanDuel lineup today for shits in hockey.
Yeah. You're telling me.
So if you're trying to find,
You're tearing shit up right now.
they played
No,
today.
he just passed me.
So Colorado played today. The next one of their games, if you can flip that on, check them out with Nate McKinnon, in my opinion, is the second best player in the league. And then Cale Makar, defenseman, who's only 19, maybe.
Yeah.
He is just unbelievable. They are so fast, high-paced team. It's a lot of fun to watch.
That Vegas game last night was
Vegas is exciting to watch.
in Chicago, man. They were just almost at times too fast.
Yeah. That series is going to be good as well. You got the depth of Vegas versus the experience of Chicago, so
Yep.
it'll be a good series to watch.
I wanted to go to a game when we were in Vegas last year and a half ago.
Heard it
It's an expensive ticket, isn't it?
through the roof.
They weren't in town.
I heard it's an entertainment show, though.
Yeah, I heard it's
like you're
like-
not paying just for the hockey game, you're
It's
paying
like-
for the
They
entertainment
said it's
show
like
as
Cirque du
well.
Soleil and hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were not in town. But I did look up they were.
I feel bad that we're not asking for many stats. Taylor looks bored.
No, I'm enjoying the conversation.
All right.
I do want to say, though, if you say it's like Cirque du Soleil, I went to that like 6 months ago. Not worth the ticket. So if you're trying to go to Vegas to look at the Cirque du
There
Soleil
you
/
go.
NHL, stay home.
Come for the sports combo, and you get the Cirque du Soleil reviews.
Tell my wife that because she was bummed we were in Vegas. We didn't go to one.
Wait, I got something you can look up for. So Russ may know the answer already.
Probably.
What is in an NHL game? What is the most shots on goal in a game
For a team or a person?
Combined?
for a combined?
It was 180, 150 last night, wasn't it?
For are you
They were
in any game? Last night was 151.
Yeah, is that the record?
It's got to be damn close to it.
That's what, obviously Corpusalo got the saves record with 80.
Was that
But some
Three stars of the week thrown in here.
The most shots, it gives only one team, is 73 by the Bruins.
that got broke.
So even that got
1990.
broke last night in that 5 overtime game because Tampa had 88.
Yeah. So I was just curious what the
I go
total shots.
You guys know I go to most of the Elmira College local
Right.
games here. There was one game, I don't remember the exact number. It was upper 90s. Elmira had upper 90s shots on goal in a regulation game one time.
What?
It ended, it was like 13-0 or something.
I forget what the because
Upper
I
90s?
think Tampa has the record for most shots in a period at like 34.
Hold on, let's back up. Who were they playing?
I don't remember. This was
nobody.
Nobody. The Pee Wee team?
If you're the goalie in that game, you just give up. Guys, go out for the third on your own.
If you're saying they shot around 150 last night, they definitely beat the record because it was 76. The Rockies, Maple Leafs, there was 104 shots. That's the NHLrecords.com. Says that's the most. And that was 53 by one and 51
156 last night.
That's
Or
151. 151.
Do they only count the regular?
I was just saying that might be a regulation.
That might
game.
be regulation. Yeah, 104 sounds low for.
I mean, if you've
Some
got,
playoff
like you said,
games.
if you've got a seventh
Between the
period
Rockies.
stretch in the game, my God.
Yeah, because the record for saves in a game was like 72. So I imagine if one goalie had 72, I imagine the other team had more than 28 shots.
Yeah. So bonus trivia here. He just mentioned the Rockies. So the Colorado Rockies, originally an NHL team. Do you know who they are today?
I'm going to guess they're not the Avalanche.
That's correct.
Because that'd be too easy of an answer. Is it...
Stat Boy's going to look it up here.
Actually, I was about to say the most saves in a single game is 92 by Ron Tugnut.
I thought that got broke, or is that a playoff?
It might be, maybe it was a playoff
Maybe
record,
that's a
but
playoff record he broke last night.
That could be.
He definitely broke a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Calgary?
The Kings.
No. Kings are original team. New Jersey Devils.
Oh.
Formerly
It's a big
Colorado
move.
Rockies.
I was trying to stay, like, somewhat out there.
Colorado used to be
We have a
Quebec Nordiques.
tie game with 5 minutes left in the second.
It's not good. I've got Kata Hot as my goalie.
That helps me, though.
As RA would say.
Helps me.
Helps my FanDuel.
There you go. That's true. No more shutout for him. That kid's a stud too. He's only like 21 years old or something.
Oh, no. You still got I'm still like 2 points behind you.
Probably not updated.
I did.
I don't get the shutout points till the game would be complete, so they wouldn't be factored in there.
Gotcha. All right. I figured I'd give Hockey FanDuel a shot. I'm like,
I like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of research. Wasn't a ton, but
Did you get a wicked sign-up bonus with like a couple $100
I
free?
did not.
That's an out.
Did not. Yeah, use promo code 3-Star Recruits.
As much as I hate to admit it, I was having a drink last night, and there's horse racing on TV.
Wait, you had a drink?
It's more than a drink.
Oh,
But yeah.
Was it $8 worth?
They had horse racing on the TV, and I'm like, man, why am I not betting on the horses right now? So I went to the TVG app and downloaded it. $200 sign-up bonus. All I had to do was put $50 in. Guess how much I have in the account now?
20.
Goose egg.
I was going to say you won't be able to bet on horses
Attaboy.
right now.
Someone
Attaboy.
cut me off, please.
So I debated about throwing this in my 3-star somehow, and then some more chaos happened. So the Blue Jackets, who lost that game last night, but they beat Toronto in 5 games in order to get into this actual playoff. So they beat Toronto in the qualifying series in Game 5.
Dude, they played like 8 series already.
Yeah. Last year, the Blue Jackets lost arguably the 3 biggest free agents in hockey last year. Sergei Bobrovsky, their starting goalie, went to Florida. Is now the second highest paid goalie in the league, behind Carey Price. Artemi Panarin went to the Rangers. As I mentioned already, he's an MVP candidate this season. And Matt Duchene went to Nashville. He's been a little bit of a disappointment. But Columbus last year swept Tampa, and then they lost either the next series or the conference finals. I don't remember which, but point being, they lost the 3 biggest free agents in hockey last year and are still in the playoffs, one against Toronto, and they're still playing.
And I think
Tampa,
they had more
so-
points this year, obviously with like 8 less games than they had last year.
Yeah. People basically wrote them off that they would have a horrible season after
'Cause they got
losing
rid of all those
agents.
people?
Yeah, but John Tortorella, who's up for Coach of the Year,
Tortorella don't fuck around.
he is a no-nonsense coach, and he has them playing great hockey again. So
That's sort of what I was going to say is just because they're great players doesn't mean they're not cancer in the locker room.
Yep.
If
Dude,
the
they've got-
vibe changes a little bit.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yep.
What's that?
And Dubois has been tearing it up, and he
Yeah,
was
that doesn't-
number 3 overall pick
yeah,
a few years ago.
same
So
year that Matthews went 1.
so they've still got a good team, but yeah.
They're one of those like not like the fanciest team to watch. They're just workhorses out
And I
there.
feel
They
like,
don't.
and being in Columbus, there's like, I don't know if there's any other NHL fans are like, I hate Columbus. Like,
Yeah.
maybe Detroit. I don't know. Like, there's no one there that's like, I can't stand those guys.
I've been to Columbus quite a few times.
You didn't even know they had a hockey team.
No, I did. We literally stay like every time we there, stay like 2 or 3 blocks straight from the arena. Because it's a block and a half from the convention center where we usually go. I would have to guess that place, they're always out of town that weekend we're there. But I think because the Arnold,
Probably no accident.
yeah, it's on. I think it's on by design. My guess is I've seen growth in just the city over the last few years of going there. I bet you that town's really fun to live in during hockey season.
Well, yeah, and you go right from
Yeah.
Ohio State football into hockey season. It's
Yeah,
a good time right there.
yeah. Ohio State's kind of on the outskirts of Columbus, but
Right, but
and the other thing we're going to go on like a Columbus rant, I guess, but the other thing that's like greatly supported in Columbus, like they were going to move them and they protested, is the soccer club.
right.
Like that is like they're not out of town while we're there, and that place is just it was always like packed when you drove by.
I know the Rockies moved to New Jersey way back in the day, but I couldn't name the Columbus soccer team. So
Columbus FC.
Football team. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think they really have. I don't know if they have fancy names, but
okay.
but yeah, downtown Columbus, where that is literally that.
I've
I don't know
heard
if you could get any more center city than where their arena is.
A couple of friends that they try to go to a hockey game, a road hockey game, every year, and they've been to Columbus like 3 times the last like 10 years. They love it so much.
And there's great places to stay that are really close within walking distance, and yeah, good time down in Columbus, out in Columbus.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to road tripping to Columbus to do that, like go to a hockey game and just spend the weekend.
Shoot that cannon off when they score.
Yeah.
Little safer than going to Little Caesars in Detroit, I would assume.
Philly scored. Joel Farabee had some more FanDuel
So
points for me.
how many?
Farabee.
Don't call it comeback. Yeah, periods left.
Joel Frisbee.
So Taylor lived in like Detroit area.
Yep.
He went to rap battles with Eminem,
Downtown Flint.
but yeah,
Been there, done that. Would not recommend. 5 out of 10. At best.
Five?
Give it
Five?
a 3.
I would say 5.
how many games did you go to?
Hockey games?
Yeah,
3 or 4. I mean, it's
I was
dirt
saying,
cheap.
I thought he was going to surprise you and
I
be
did
like,
go to the
20.
Joe. I went
At
to the
Joe, I
Joe.
was to say the old arena or the new one?
Both.
Okay.
The Joe was, this is sacrilegious to say, but dump.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I mean,
Terrible.
that's why
It's
we got
kind
Little
of
Caesars.
it's kind of like old Yankee Stadium, right? It has
Yeah.
so much history, but yet at some point,
Have you been to
gotta
Fenway?
replace it.
Went
No.
to Fenway. We weren't up front, but we were in the lower deck. There are the seats that we were in. We're only maybe 15 rows back, and you can't see anything once they hit the ball because the overhang from the upper deck, the old architecture, you can't see anything. So they have TVs. You're basically paying to sit and watch TV. Next
Imagine
to
if you're
people.
sitting behind one of those posts.
They have the posts. Yeah, there are seats with a
Yeah.
2-foot wide metal post in front of you, so you got
But you
to
know what?
lean to one side. The
You know
whole
what? They
game.
sell out. They still get fans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go again.
It's like going to
Check
been
that
there.
off the bucket list.
I've been to
Done.
Fenway a ton of times, but
So you know what I'm talking about then.
yeah, I was little. That's where the juvenile diabetes center was.
I've
We
never
used to go all the
been
time.
to old Yankee Stadium, but I've been to the new stadium, and they did like the opposite of that. Of the old stadiums where they had, if you were in the concourse, you had to walk through the tunnels to get to your seats. And the new Yankee Stadium, they just removed all that. It's just wide
but,
open.
Yeah, that's how all the new stadiums are
Yeah,
now.
a lot of them. Are.
Everything's just wide open. You can just
Well, now they can sell standing room only tickets too.
they do.
So,
Yeah, they
well,
do.
that's because they're cheaper than buying the $3,000 seats down.
That'll probably be discontinued.
But those
Standing
are
room. 6 feet, everybody.
those are pretty cool though, because it's literally it's in a concourse,
Yeah.
and there's nothing separating it. It's at the top of the section. They're usually just like bars, so it's like you or any of us just standing at the bar having a beer, and like you could turn around and walk 10 feet, and there's food vendors right.
Yeah. I've done that in Pittsburgh.
That's how a lot of the modern ballparks are.
Pittsburgh's got that
Philly,
the rotunda in left field. You can walk. You can
room.
stand up there.
Went to Cincinnati a couple years ago. That's how their stadium is.
Yeah.
Their new one.
Cleveland's like that.
I've never
too,
been, but everybody says Seattle's amazing. Seattle's got the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the new stadiums got that open concourse. And it helps people because as you're waiting in line for concessions, you can still watch the game if you need to.
Yeah.
And you can hear the sounds. You're not in a concrete barrier.
Yeah, Cleveland was like close to that. There was areas you could stand in that were pretty wide open, but which, by the way, pro tip: if you ever go to Cleveland for a game, just buy tickets for left field. There's only 30 rows, I believe, out there, and you can get a ticket for like $40 for the game.
Well, if you want another pro tip, you can watch the Tigers for about $10.
In Detroit.
Yeah.
Russ and I've sat in like covered area in Pittsburgh, right along the right field fence for like $18. So
I'm getting some sweet deals on tickets. I was down to visit Allie one time in Philly. We're like, let's go to a baseball game. Bryce Harper was in town.
I will never go back to that place.
Really?
It probably did not help. Russ was with me one time. I've been there twice.
Wait, I think I've heard this story, but tell the people at home.
Being a Braves fan.
Yep.
So my dad and I went, I don't know. Russ and I, we went, 10 years ago? Probably you and I went?
been a long
Something like
time.
that. So this was probably a couple years before that. My dad and I went. We were down right field line, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I walked, getting booed at the entire time. We're like 10 rows to walk up to go to the concourse.
How old were you?
I was probably like 15,
Oh,
16.
yeah. You're old enough then. If you were like
And-
walking, you're old enough.
I think at this
Philly.
time, I think I had a McCann jersey. Getting booed the whole time. I'm going to the bathroom. The guy stands by. He goes, "Do you want me to piss on you?" I said, "Nope, I'll be leaving." Walked out. I walked out of the bathroom. Didn't even go to the bathroom. It was brutal. So then
That's just Philly fans. but
so that was one night. The next night, my dad and I sat front row in right field. I was a big Jeff Francoeur fan. So we sat front row, got harassing Francoeur, constant, the whole time. It was miserable. And then Francoeur comes out. I took my jersey off and turned it around. I was probably a senior in high school. And so he saw it and he pointed at me. So the next thing he comes out, he got to second base. He stops and throws a fucking rifle. Hits me right in the glove. The whole section just like sits down. They're like, "Oh." Just shut him up. But Russ and I went a few years after this, and we sat 5 rows behind the Braves dugout, I think, for one of the games. And I'm very quiet, like when I go to a game, like especially if visiting. I'm not gonna like stand up and be like try to be a badass. Obviously, I'm not a big guy. So I got Russ with me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything still.
I'm be froggy now.
But this guy next to us, Braves fan, does not fucking shut up the entire fucking game. I thought we were gonna get the shit kicked out of us. And I'm like,
the first game we went to, we sat in right field, and I'm a Pirates fan. I wore some Pirates gear, and nobody gave me any shit because it was a Phillies Braves game. Whatever. The next game,
But you were also in PA.
Yeah. The next day, like he said, we sat behind the dugout. For some reason, I ended up wearing one of his other Braves jerseys. I went into full idiot mode here and wore Braves gear to this Phillies game. Now, obviously, I'm a lot bigger than him. I just wore one of his jerseys, like, unbuttoned, and, I look like a Braves fan, which was stupid. But, yeah, we got down, and he and I were quiet. We're not trying to stir anything up. We're not trying to get our asses kicked in Philly, right? Yeah, and we get down to the dugout, and this kid that he's talking about was there with, like, his girlfriend or something.
yeah.
And it's like he was being quiet too, but now that there were 4 of us, this kid grew these huge balls and decided to be the obnoxious Atlanta fan. And we're like, we don't know this guy. Like, just kick his ass, please. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
That's just Philly fans, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
But
You know,
go ahead.
The stupid little fact that I remember, though, So I
It
was
took like 5 hours to get to the game.
well, yeah, that too. We stayed with his uncle who lived like 20 miles away, and it took 2.5 hours each time. I'm like, why do people live like this? And that wasn't game traffic. That was just Philly traffic.
Yep.
But what I remember, we were coming out. Maybe you were driving, actually. Yeah, you were driving. I was in the passenger seat. We were trying to get out of the stadium, and we could not merge over to the lane we needed to go to. And I looked out, and there was this Braves fan right next to us. So I held up the jersey. I was like, yeah, go Braves. And he's like, come on over. He let us merge into the lane. Like, wow, the Braves jersey just saved us here.
Mine's not as exciting as yours, but I did stumble into a pretty sweet ticket once. I was driving Uber in Detroit. Safety first, guys. I was actually coming back home to New York, so I was setting a destination just to drive from where I lived through Detroit and then head home. Make a couple bucks on the way, cover gas. Mm-hmm. And I pull up to this giant mansion. I mean, 5,000 to 7,000 square foot brick house, right? And these two really nice looking girls walk out, and one dude walks out, not thinking anything of it. And then it says Comerica Park. So I'm like, oh, nice. I'm going to make $30 on this trip. Awesome ride. And they get in, we start chatting, and I'm like, so you guys are going to watch the Tigers game, right? And they're like, yeah, we actually have an extra ticket. I'm not going to just jump on it, and I don't even know these people, but it's a half an hour ride to get there, so start chirping at them a little bit. Next thing you know, they're like, why don't you just stay and come, just log out. I didn't tell them I was going home. They thought I was going to keep Ubering it up, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure, why not? Yeah, I'll take the free ticket. A wise man in Cape Cod once told me if someone offers you something, never say no. So here we are. So I'm thinking,
What did that wise man offer you?
We didn't offer for him to come tonight.
So they hand me the ticket when we pull in, and I see that it says row 4, but I'm like, I don't know the section numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe it's a nosebleed, but we're in the front of it. So I'm following them because they say that their parents own a row.
Even
I'm like, okay, this is going to be
even
pretty good.
after you pull up to a mansion, you still think it's in the nosebleeds.
I mean, they're giving you a free ticket. You can't assume that it's going to be great. So I'm following them through Comerica Park, and then we get behind home plate, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe this is going to be good. Next thing you know, we're walking down the stairs and further down the stairs. Yeah, we're 4 rows behind home plate, and I'm like, this is out of my pay grade. So next thing you know, I'm like,
But then he just told us he could get tickets for $10.
well, that's serious nosebleeds. I'm like, can I buy you guys beers? And they go, we don't buy beers. Next thing you know, there's someone with a tray that walks down, tray full of beers.
We don't buy beers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a Tigers game, so there's not really a big climax to this story. They probably got their asses kicked.
Watching one of the best headers in baseball ever.
Somewhere, some guy and 2 girls are drunk at a bar saying, "For that time we took our Uber driver to the game."
When was this?
2016-ish, 2017.
So that had to have been close to Cabrera's Triple Crown year.
Yeah, it was
Probably
after
after,
Verlander
Hey,
left.
hey, stat boy.
Yes.
See when
Yeah.
Miguel.
What year
Cabrera
was
had
Cabrera's
Crown?
Triple Crown? I bet that was 14 or 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be really close to that.
That's why I was looking this up. I was down in Philly watching or visiting an alley, and I'm like, let's go to a game tonight. Like we're just gonna
We got derailed because he
Yeah.
said he went to.
we're just gonna sit here, so let's just go to the game. It wasn't that far from her where she lived, so we got an update.
2012.
Holy shit.
Way back.
We're fucking old.
We're getting old.
Yeah. So we I hop online. I think I use SeatGeek, and I found tickets. And usually you end up paying not bad price, but they hit you with fees.
Yeah.
I had a code to use, so I used the discount code. Same thing. I don't know what's good, what's not there. I was like, oh, these look pretty good. They're in the lower section on the right field line. I got them for, I think, 2 tickets and a parking pass for $120 total. Playing Washington with Harper in town, which is kind of like big rival, Harper. I think I just stole these tickets for $120.
Yeah. See, I haven't been to a baseball game in a long time,
I haven't either.
but when you look at price of baseball seats, they're really, really cheap compared to what I'm used to paying for hockey games. Because I've paid as much as like $140 for my seat in the Sabres arena.
Yeah.
Now that was first row on the glass behind the net, but
That's still not bad.
if I go to a Sabres game sitting in the lower bowl,
That was a great story too.
I try. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Anyways, there's a breakup involved. But if I go, we're not telling that.
What was his name?
Yeah. If I go to the Sabres games, I try to sit in the lower bowl. In the end, they shoot twice, and I assume I'm going to pay $90 to $110 for per ticket.
I still don't think that's bad though.
No, I have no problem doing it, especially since we only go to maybe like 2 games
Exactly.
a year.
That's always been my philosophy. We don't go to enough games to
Right.
save money when we go to games.
But I mean, I guess what I'm getting at, relative to you paying $120 for 2 seats and a parking pass, like, yeah, to me that's
Across
like
the street from
to me
the
that's like a
stadium.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this comes with a parking pass. Print that off too.
Ooh, pro tip. I don't know how most cities it seems
he's got a lot of pro tips tonight.
Apparently, I'm a pro. Most cities it seems that the stadiums are set up near the casinos in the city. I know Detroit's that way. I believe Cleveland has a casino next to Progressive Field.
Pittsburgh's
would
close too.
He would know this.
Casinos
Buffalo actually is too.
Almost always have free parking. Almost always.
Okay.
You could get away with that in
You
Cleveland.
park in the casino and you just walk, or you take
Yeah.
a bird scooter if you haven't ridden one of those.
Bird scooter.
Oh, it's awesome.
Pro tip.
Pro tip right there.
My kids
Free
probably like
drinking
that.
on the
my
bird
kids
scooter,
like
so.
scooters, so I'm guessing.
Like it. Huh. We have gotten really random in this.
We
podcast.
did.
I like it.
It was good. It was good. Do you guys want to do?
Wait, speaking of baseball, I told you, I texted you guys
I guess
earlier.
that's a no.
I texted you guys earlier. I want to ask you guys about the Korea baseball playoff format.
Oh boy.
I did
So-
zero research.
No, I
on
didn't.
this.
You didn't need to. All
right.
I got it for you. So there's only 10 teams in Korea baseball league, so it's obviously a little different.
10 goddamn teams.
That's all they got in the old KBO.
Okay.
5 divisions.
Does everyone
Five
make
per
the
division.
playoffs? Or
No, so this is 5 teams. Top 5 teams make the playoffs. The number 1 seed, because basically they say, hey, you were the best team in the regular season, you get automatic bid into the Korea baseball World Series.
Okay.
So then the 4th place team
Wait, time out. They go straight to the World Series.
straight to the series for being the number 1
right.
seed. So they're basically given an advantage.
So I know we're getting ahead here. How many out of the 10 make playoffs?
5 teams.
Okay.
So then the 4th seed hosts the 5th seed. The 4th seed starts with a 1-0 series lead. So the 5th seed has to beat them twice. 4th seed only has to win once.
Hold on. Start over and slow down. And
let's draw a diagram here.
In the KBO, Korean Baseball Organization League, 10 teams, 5 teams make playoffs.
yep.
The number 1 seed goes right to the finals.
I should have been more specific.
Yeah.
Not start from the beginning.
It sounds like communism at its finest.
So
But go on.
So start with the 4th seed.
So the 4th seed and 5th seed play, but the 4th seed starts with a 1-0 series lead.
1-0.
Yep. First team to win 2 games. Okay.
Okay.
Listen.
So it's a best of 2, and we're giving you a 1-game head start.
Right. For being the higher
Or
seed.
best of 3.
So then the winner of that then plays the 3rd seed, best of 5. The winner of that plays the 2nd seed, best of 5. Then the winner of that plays a best of 7 against the number 1 seed.
So when they
And
move
then in the
on, does
finals.
the higher seed get a 1-game lead?
No.
It's just
It's
the 4.
only in the 4 or 5. It's just interesting to look. I happened to flip it on. I think it was right before Golf Thursday or Friday last week. And so Korea Baseball League was
Flip
on.
this on? That was
It's
on somewhere?
It's been on ESPN for the last
Of course
4
it
months.
has.
I was going to say, how much are you paying for TV that you're getting that?
It's been on ESPN. They actually broadcast it from the U.S. from their homes, and they just have the video on, so they're just broadcasting.
Okay. So you're like,
So I flip
Charlie
it on.
Harper here on 2.5 Men.
Yeah, so I'm just like,
Every package you can bet on anything.
so I'm like, I'll just watch it. I watched it for like 20 minutes, but this popped up on the screen, and I was like, well, that's interesting. So what if they did that in like each league, like National League, American League? I've said there's far less teams, but
I remember the guy's name.
their point was to give the advantage to the number 1 seed because they did so much during the regular season to earn that. I think going to the finals is a little bit aggressive.
Your reward is you made the playoffs.
Even the wise old man in Florida would not take this.
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod. That's in Florida. Oh, no, Cape Cod. All right, never mind. I was picturing like Key West or something. So my only thing, not my only thing, but this is, holy shit. So your first overall seed, you could be waiting like 3 weeks before you play a game again.
That was exactly my thought.
I wouldn't want that.
Right. You could wait forever to fucking play again.
To me, it would be perfect to be like the 3rd seed. You get a couple days off while 4 and 5 screw around with their 2-game, you get a 1-game lead series, and then you start playing.
Yeah, that was my thought. Like, if you're in the finals, like, you're literally just practicing for 3 weeks until you get to play.
So the 4-5 winner plays 3 in a best of 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're the 1 seed, you're probably going to wait at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Assuming they play like a
Yeah,
major
because I
league
assume the
type
best
schedule.
of 5s are probably a week each.
My God.
I'm
So
like, that's
This is
nuts.
without a doubt the dumbest playoff format I've ever heard. Hence why Korean baseball has not grown, because they only have 10 teams and nobody watches it.
There was a few guys playing that night that night over there, that morning here, that have played in MLB.
There was so much
It
other
was-
shit you could have been watching. You could have watched replays of cornhole.
Dude, it's 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
There's
There
not
was
much
probably
on.
some cricket on or something. You could have spent the whole day watching that.
Cricket.
I learned
think
enough
I'd
from
rather.
Karthik.
I don't know. 7:30 a.m. has got to be reruns of Fresh Prince of Bel Air that would have been more impressive than this.
I'd rather stick my wiener in a meat grinder, but
That's a little aggressive.
no. It's about as dumb as that playoff format.
Yeah. No.
I agree. It's just,
No.
I saw that and I was like, I took a picture of it and I was like, I gotta ask these guys about it.
I mean, I appreciate you bringing it up because
No, I'm glad you did, so I can tell
Do I
Korean
like it?
baseball how dumb it
Yeah.
is.
See, now you might want to watch it though.
this is
Nope. Makes you want to watch it less.
this is as bad as the Korean basketball with like you score a basket in the last 8 seconds
Oh,
and it's like
yes.
a 19-pointer or something.
Did you ever hear this? The North Korea Basketball League?
No, but go ahead. I've got a story
Now we know
after
he's not
that.
a big. Now he's not a fan of the podcast.
He didn't know. He wasn't back here. He was not aware we were
They
doing
only
a
had
podcast.
one rule that I liked. But
Oh, the free throws.
yeah, if you missed a 3 throw, it was a negative point, which I actually liked.
Go back. It's one of our first episodes. It's not on iTunes or Spotify.
Is it the one where Adam's wearing a tie?
No, that was
this
on
is before
Zoom.
that. No, this is before that.
This is one of our first episodes. We talked about the North Korea Basketball League.
You want me to wear a tie next week?
It
You look
was-
like you're going to a job interview.
He was.
You're you're always interviewing for jobs.
He wasn't actually sold on staying with us for so Ross and I had interviewing. It's one of the first episodes it's on YouTube.
Yeah. It's either episode 1 or 2. It's literally
It literally is one of the first episodes.
I'll do my homework.
It was back with the old school like red backdrop.
Yeah.
Based in the
We didn't know what we were doing, so we were probably very awkwardly commenting
Yeah.
on it.
We've come a long way.
Another quick anecdote from Stat Boy.
Is this a pro tip?
It's not a pro tip.
Okay.
It's a really sad story about. You said it's like a 19-pointer in the end. The
I was exaggerating, but it really is
I
like
know
an
you-
8-pointer or
I
something.
know
It
you
is.
were, but it sparked a little
Yep.
memory for me.
All right.
I was watching the sectional finals game back in high school for the girls basketball team, and they only had like 2 minutes left in the game, right? And they're up by 18 points. The coach's advice was, "Don't worry, girls. There's no 18-point shot in basketball." Guess what?
They lost.
They lost.
Yes, they did.
I like it.
You literally could have dribbled out the shot clock.
Is that your same notebook you've used the whole time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
I can
probably
look it up.
I have some.
You
of them.
had those numbers, yeah.
I have them somewhere. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but we will at some point with Taylor. It's in there
I think I
somewhere.
have it in here, but
All right.
You guys ready to do 3 stars of the week?
We probably should.
All
right.
We've been on here a while.
we'll get in the old college football next week.
I will go first.
This is nothing to talk about with college football.
We can talk about that next time. I want to see how some more of this pans out.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. It's gonna get interesting next
Yep.
week.
My 3rd star of the week is Derek Lewis. You see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, making noise here.
Lewis, he's my 3rd star for one he won. What's it have anything to do with?
Nothing.
Okay.
0.
Could you take the Arnold Palmers away from him?
He's already got them all gone.
Drink another one so he can't, can you, Taylor? Oh,
The
man.
box is empty.
Good thing I didn't reach over there. I thought I was going to get one.
UFC record for knockouts at heavyweight.
Yep.
That was his 11th knockout. He knocked out Alexei Oleinik in the 2nd round. Props to Derek Lewis because we've all watched him fight. He fought Cormier. He looked gassed. I can't remember who it was he fought that he knocked out like last second before he fought Cormier. Remember that?
Yeah, it was the big Russian dude.
Oh, yeah, because at the end, the
So
interview, my
he
balls
gave-
are hot.
yeah,
Donald
he
Trump
gave-
told me to knock out that Russian motherfucker. Yeah. He has lost some weight. He looks better. Like, he just looks better.
Yeah.
He moves better. And he knocked out people before. His authority and speed when he like explodes is better than it was before.
So heavyweight in the UFC has a max limit of 265 pounds, and he's one of the guys that has to cut weight to get under the 265. And the interesting thing, you may be bringing this up, his post-fight interview, which are always gold.
So all the interviews now are they can't do them in the ring in Vegas. It's stupid. They did them in Florida in the ring. So they leave the ring and they go back to a curtain. They give him a headset. He did not know he was on the air, and he was trying to get someone's attention. He was like, "Hey, I got to take a shit now." And they're like,
they're already live for the interview.
They're like, "Derek, you're on." "Oh, what's up, man?"
Dude,
but he was trying to get someone. He's like, "I got to take a shit."
I saw that headline. Like, I was like, I don't know if that's true or not. Like,
no, he did.
So
because of all the comments he's made,
Paul
previously.
Felder's like, "You're live, Derek."
The funny thing is that's not why I was bringing the interview up, but the funny thing is that's not the first time he said that he needed to take a shit in a post-fight interview.
Adam's got kids.
He did it.
Everybody poops. You have that book probably, right?
Yeah.
He did it in the ring a few years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him what was wrong. He was dancing around. He goes, "Oh, I got to take a boom boom." But
interviews are pure gold with this guy.
But he said in that interview, so in this fight, he had to, again, he was closer to weight, but he still had to cut to get to 265.
Yeah, he did.
He said he's not taking his next fight. He's hoping to do it in December. He's not taking his next fight until he gets himself down into like the 240, 245 range.
He looks good. I mean, for 265. I mean,
yeah.
And when he exploded, like he looked like he was going to kill him.
His asshole exploded, or
no, that was after. I wasn't present for that.
Yeah, yeah. When he lands a punch and he has the open, if he stuns you and he's got open punches on you, the fight's over.
He threw a flying knee.
Yeah, he did, which hit Olynyk in the chest. It didn't really stun him. It just kind of stopped him in his tracks and threw him off balance enough. And then he threw that right hand, and that was the fight.
I mean, and props to him for not getting submitted in the first round because he was getting his head squeezed like a grape for like 2.5 minutes.
He said that, and what did he say in the post fight interview? He goes, "Yeah, that guy had me in like a." I don't even know what he said.
I took back and watched.
Like a Puerto Rican necktie choke or something. Which I don't know. That may actually be the term for him. Dude, he got me whatever that was, that Puerto Rican bulldog necktie, and I got out of it or something.
Would you go home tonight? Look up Derek Lewis interviews.
Yeah, I will look a couple up. We're done here, actually.
For third star.
Oh yeah, that was a star, wasn't it? I like that star. My third star. Adam said he. What'd you say? You altered your stars? You think you had the same ones as us?
Yeah.
Which
there's one I couldn't avoid. I think. But
all right. Anyways, my third star is Mike Trout. So Mike Trout, his wife gave birth to their baby like 10 days ago. He's played in 9 games since then. He's gone 13 for 37, so that's a 351 average, 7 home runs, 12 RBI, and 10 runs scored in a 9-game stretch. So
nice.
That's a hell of a month for most players, let alone a week.
He's probably on a lot of coffee right now.
Yeah.
Which, real quick, baseball, the rumor is for the playoffs, they're going to go into bubbles.
yes, I did hear that.
That's
Probably a good idea.
and the NFL teams have offered to do bubbles, Dallas and the Saints.
I saw a bunch of Dallas guys are checking into a hotel right next to the practice facility.
Yep, they're doing a bubble.
The
It's
NHL,
optional.
so we're going on a tangent here, but the NHL has the 2 bubbles we've talked about, Edmonton and Toronto. As of Sunday, they had done, it was a little over 18,000 COVID tests for these 2 bubbles with 0 positive cases.
Sweet. And I saw the NFL average for just testing positive was 0.04.
Right. So if they have these bubbles and the players actually follow the guidelines, it is working, and we get to see the sports.
Right. And one more quick baseball. The rumor is Cincinnati submitted a plan to have fans in the stadium, and it has been approved by Cincinnati. I don't know what the next step is. Carry on. Your third star, sir.
So, I have 2 here. I'm gonna go Ben on hole-in-one on Sunday. More about the reaction. He hit it. The pin was tucked over a bunker. Had no clue it went in.
It's hole-in-one.
Until there was one guy behind the green goes, ah! And then he starts...
Volunteer.
Volunteer. Starts celebrating.
Working real hard, huh?
Yeah.
Just volunteering, watching the...
Adam's recreation of that reaction. Can you make that the intro clip to the YouTube video?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
I can. I sure can. My second star of the week is Big Dick Book, Devin Booker.
That's a good one.
And the Phoenix Suns in general, but Devin Booker,
fire under their ass right now.
Yeah, undefeated in the bubble. Since coming back, he's averaging 31.6 assists, shooting 63%. Prior to the shutdown, he was averaging 26.6 and shooting 61%. So Devin Booker just letting it fly from anywhere. I don't know if you saw that clip from like pretty much half court. He's like, you know what? I'll just shoot from here.
I did see that.
Yeah. So Devin Booker, my second star.
I like it. My second star, I did not realize this till yesterday. So the Colorado Rockies are 17 games into the season. Charlie Blackmon is hitting 500.
Holy crap.
We talked before the MLB season started about there was a prop bet of could somebody hit 400, and we said there's potential in a 60-game season. So Charlie Blackmon, almost a third into the season, he's hitting 500. So if he
That's pretty solid.
hits at a reasonable pace, he actually might hit 400.
Is it right at 500 or is it
It's literally 500.
Okay.
34 of 68. So
Yeah, it'll be, and everybody's talking like, oh, they're going to hit it like Ted Williams. Ted Williams did over 162. Like, I understand that. But still to do it,
there, in my opinion,
is
there would be a huge asterisk on that if he hit 400, but it's still impressive.
Right.
So Charlie Blackmon, my second star.
I'm going to mix mine up a little bit here. I'm going to go Damian Lillard, number 2. He's kind of put Portland on his back the past few games. I think he's got back-to-back 60-point games, 50-point games.
It's 61 last night.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's your star. You tell us.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's your star, and you're asking us questions.
So he's kind of put Portland on his back. I think they're in the 8th seed right now. There's a lot of teams buying for that play-in game in the West, but might be a guy you don't want to see in the playoffs.
Probably not.
So,
and if Phoenix makes it, I wouldn't want to play Phoenix right now either.
I just can't get into the NBA.
It's tough.
This restart.
Maybe when
I just happened to look at the standings today.
Maybe when the actual playoffs start.
Which I think is Monday.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Monday, I believe.
Yep.
Playing game is Saturday for the West.
My first star of the week is Danielle Kang, who's won back-to-back weeks on the LPGA Tour and made a unbelievable comeback Sunday. She was 5 down with 6 to play, and it was partially a comeback, partially a choke job from Lydia Ko.
I was just saying, you need a little bit of a choke to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, Danielle made a couple birdies.
Did you watch any of that?
Yes, I watched the re-air.
I watched the re-air, and I was like, I'm like watching. I saw she had won, and I'm like watching on 18, and I'm sitting where seeing where they're standing, and I'm like maybe she won in a playoff. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? It's.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't mean this against any woman who plays golf or anybody on the tour, because I caddied on that tour. There's a little bit of, and we joke that women overplan and that's their personality. You can see it out there when they're playing.
She did, because
Lydia Ko overdid. I mean, the drop she took.
Yeah, and then even that third shot, her caddy was trying to tell her to hit like a high flop.
Just overdoing it.
She's like, no, she tried to blade it into a hill, and she missed the hill, and it went over into a bunker. It was a mess.
That's straight up Adam style. I tried to hit into that hill, and I missed.
No comment from the former partner over there?
No, I won't touch that one.
Well, she got relief from like a cart path.
Right.
And she dropped it twice. And the official standing there with her radio in her hand, like pointing where to drop, and she drops it again. I'm like, do you seriously not know the drop rules? Like, you've dropped it twice. It's rolled closer.
Yeah.
The official standing there with her radio, like pointing, like this is where you set it, and she just drops it again. I'm like, this is so painful. Yeah. And then once we spent 10 minutes doing the drop, she walks up to the green, comes back. Her and her caddy have a discussion.
Like
he walks up to the green, he comes back. I'm like, this is so bad. Like.
You could hear her caddy like telling her what
just
to do.
Overthinking it. And this is where, go back to your like being a caddy. If I'm her caddy, I'm like, stop asking me damn questions. Like, you've hit this shot 100 times. Hit it.
Right, and she's a former former number one in the world.
Hit a golf shot. And then once she bladed it over the green, she was between the bunkers, right?
Right.
Okay. Helen Keller could have got that ball up and down.
And just up. She just had to get it up.
I don't know what she would. Yeah, she could have got on the green 2 putted for a playoff.
Right.
So she's like super overanalyzing. Like, what do I do here? Do I hit the flop shot? No. What does she do? She tries to like do a bump and run straight up the hill. I mean, it was just a hill. All she had to do was like get it on the green, hit your lob wedge up there. She tries to bump and run like a 7-iron, and it rolled like 8 feet, stopped, rolled back into the bunker. So now she got to get up and out of the bunker, which she didn't do, and choked. That's where the caddy needs to come in and say, why are we having this conversation?
It was a mess of an 18th hole. Danielle ended up parring it, but
it hit a stock lob wedge into the middle of the green. Like, stop overanalyzing.
So Danielle was down one stroke, headed to 18.
All right,
she made 7.
That's what I was going to ask. You said Kang made up 5 strokes in 6 holes. How many were on that hole during that circuit?
She made 2 up. She parred and Lydia doubled.
Dude, it was painful.
Okay. But that to win it. So she was down. So she made up 6 strokes in those holes.
Horrible job by the caddy to like reel her in and be like, stop, just stop. You've hit this chip shot 100 times. Just hit a chip shot. You don't need to try to be fancy. You don't hit a hero bump and run that you don't need to hit. But first start of the week,
so
Danielle Kang.
Obviously, Kang won back-to-back. I saw somebody, a caddy on the LPGA Tour, mentioned that Maria Fassi, that won or came runner-up in that first women's amateur event at Augusta. Somebody said the way the trajectory she's on, she's going to win like everything in the LPGA.
Is she that like heavier set girl? I'm not trying to be mean.
No, she's
that's.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's rock solid too.
Harley Moore.
It's something more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good work,
Haley
that guy.
Moore, I think is what it is.
Haley.
But no, that's not her.
This guy's on top of it.
Maria Fossi's she's like a fiery Spaniard.
Yeah.
She's the one that lost.
She's the one that came runner-up in the Augusta
I
women's.
think she plays at Wake, maybe.
Okay.
I think maybe Wake. I don't know.
Plays or played. She's on.
Played.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
When
she's
she was
out on
amateur, she was at Wake, I think.
Yeah. I guess I want to bring that up. She's going to be interesting to follow because a caddy out there or multiple caddies have said the way she's playing, like over the next 5 years, she might win like every tournament. So be interesting to see how much she could dominate. So yeah, my first stars have already been mentioned. After watching that 5 overtime game, I have to give both the goalies the first star. In the NHL nowadays, you basically never see a game get into overtime. This wasn't the case, but you never see a full game go without a goal. So, that'd be 3 periods. So this game got into the 5th overtime. So they basically played 4.5 periods of overtime with no goals at all. You can't do that without solid goaltending, especially when players are getting tired. But
one of the goalies made 2 saves without a skate blade.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I was trying to find the stat this morning, but I couldn't find like how many saves per period they were having.
Yeah,
I was trying to find how many shots were in overtime.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look up per period, but Corpusalo, we mentioned they said set the record. Must be just for playoffs. Had 85 saves, 88 shots. That's 966 save percentage. Vasilevsky was 61 of 63 for 968. So they combined 146 saves and a 9.967 save percentage, which is an enormous number.
That's
relative
ridiculous.
to a typical save percentage. So both the goalies in that game, my first star.
My first star, he had 1 bobble all week. Collin Morikawa, trying to lift the trophy. No one told him that it was a 2-piece trophy.
The funny
Lost
thing
the
is,
top of it.
I was thinking that earlier in the day. They kept showing the highlights of the players drinking out of it and had the top. And I wondered how many players don't know that's a 2-piece trophy. And then he did that.
Right. Yeah. So just the composure of him. Obviously, chip in on 14.
After hitting his worst iron shot of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
The tee shot on 16, making that putt, and then, obviously I assume most PGA Tour pros would do this, but on 18 coming down, aim center of the green because he pulled it. Obviously, it was only a foot left of the pin, so it looked like a great shot, but it was probably 30 feet left to where he was aiming.
Double cross.
He yanked it for sure.
But that's right. That's why you and your caddy talk. This is where we're aiming. This is what we do. Because if we push or pull it, we're still okay.
Yeah.
And he almost made that birdie on 17 too. He left it half roll short.
Yep. And then he almost birdied 18.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a pick if that's all right. But
yeah.
Mine kind of.
Do you want to go 3?
I just got 1, and it switches up your format. I'll pick a dud of the week since I'm not one of the 3 stars
I
here.
kind of like this.
All right.
My dud of the week goes to Hao Tong Lee. Okay, Friday he's at 8 under, right? And he did play with Ben Cook.
Ben had a front row seat to that.
What a weird experience that must have been for Ben.
Yeah.
Anyway, 8 under, you're leading the tournament. You shoot 65. why are you at the golf course 5 hours later hitting golf balls? I don't know if you ever watched The Office.
He went home
but
and took a nap, they said?
A scene where they go to play golf, and the guy, Andy, he goes, I hit about 1,000 golf balls last night, and he takes off. He can't even hold the golf club. His hands are so blistered. Yeah. Next thing you know, Hao Tong Lee's not even on the leaderboard, basically.
He did shoot like 2 or 3 under Sunday, though, right?
Yeah, after shooting, 76 on Saturday? Good thing you practiced to go shoot 76.
Yeah, he hit one into he had a rough stretch on the back 9.
Yeah.
Like a 3-hole stretch where he was like 4 over-ish, I think.
I mean, I'm not the player to question a PGA Tour player, but I thought that was extremely stupid.
When the commentators are saying over the broadcast, dude, go home.
Yeah.
You might
Jason Day said, I'm going to walk by him.
Day's like, I saw him on the putting green when I
the
teed off.
entirety of Jason Day's round.
Yeah, he was on the putting green before Day teed off.
What were you doing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Yeah. Were you not practicing?
Yeah, I feel like the middle of the tournament to practice for 5 to 6 hours and probably hit 1,000 golf balls.
Just irresponsible.
It makes zero sense. I think we talked about it, or especially leaving and then coming back, to me is even worse. Like if you, after your round, if there's a couple things you want to work on, to me it makes sense to go roll some putts, hit 50 chips, maybe go take 20 full swings to make sure you got stuff figured out, and then go leave and don't come back for the evening. But to leave, go get something to eat, take a nap, and then come back, you got to warm up again, and then practice for 6 hours. It doesn't make any sense in the middle of a tournament.
Even like Golf Channel, like Justin Leonard was trying to figure it out, and he said the only thing I could possibly think of is that he found something prior to Saturday or Friday, and he played so well Friday. Is he trying to ingrain it? Like,
do you think? I just thought of this. Do you think it could have been? Obviously, they're trying to stay. Can't go out to dinner. Can't do stuff. That was his way of like keeping his mind like, I'm just gonna go practice because I don't want to sit in my hotel room and get nervous and think about it.
I'd go back and watch coverage because guess what?
Yes, go learn something.
Right.
Tomorrow you're gonna play that same course around that same time of day.
To me, whether you're trying to ingrain something or a boredom factor, either way, what you've done is you've just gone and drained a shitload of energy. And we've played rounds where you walk 18 at the end of the day, and then the next day, maybe your legs are a little tired. Obviously, we don't walk as much as these guys do golfing. But you compare that to when you've played 36 in a day, and then how you feel the next day. You know that you played 36 a day prior.
Yeah,
like, he basically played 36 to 54 holes worth of strokes on Friday of a tournament.
Well, just to go to the boredom factor, like you brought up. Ben did a lot of posting on Instagram. I don't know if you saw this, Kyle.
Yeah, I did.
It's not like they didn't get set up with pretty sweet amenities. They all got giant rental houses that had ping pong tables, cornhole boards, anything you could have wanted. It's not like you're sitting in a little studio apartment going, what am I supposed to do?
They're not the Motel 6 like we would be.
And they give you a sweet rental. Dude, just go drive around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
That's what I was wondering. Depending on his personality, is it like, I can't do that? Like, it just bothers me, and I'm going to get nervous thinking about it? So if I just go golf, it relaxes me. I don't know.
So Ben's getting married this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to get Ben here to talk about this.
I sent him a message. But
Did you?
It's probably a pretty busy one for him.
Yeah. That'd be sweet to get him on just to get his perspective of one, having a front row seat to that Friday and just the whole overall week. So that'd be sweet.
Yep.
Anything else, boys?
Nope.
All right. Well, until next time. Thanks for coming again, buddy.
Glad to be here.
We're always here Wednesday nights. Later.